right, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I just saw the eyebrows go up on everybody. Yep, here we are. Saturday, November 16th. And yeah. Um Today's an action-packed Fed League Flash. And I hope that the lighting isn't too bad here. I did my best here in this situation here. But anyway, yeah, so goals. There were a lot of goals last night. And yeah, so let's start things off with highlighting games that I was able to watch. I'd say maybe a period worth of each game, um, kind of in and out. But my focus was on the other three games, and like during intermissions or before the other games started, I watched segments of these games. So, the Motor City Rockers and the Hudson Valley Venom. The Hudson Valley Venom, news flash, are a very excited team to watch, and just plugging it again. Uh, Tonight and next Saturday, tickets are only $10 to go see the Venom. So go see them because it's quite a show. Ever since the coaching change to MJ Merkel, the three-headed monster, as I'm calling it, with Hudson Valley, has really lit it up. Yeah, so it's a 6-4 win, and well, we have to take care of this because I got a lot of weight on my head. So yeah, first natural hat trick of the night. Toss that. That was from Tristan Wells of the Motor City Rockers. Then Dustin Deso followed, had the game-winning goal on. Yeah, it was. I'm trying to read my notes here. It was 17:45 of the second period, and then in the third period, Mantis Noriega, he gets a hat trick. So yeah, we're just throwing hats all around. Three hat tricks in one game. That's crazy. Earlier this year, we had two in a game, and that featured Dustin Gisso as well. So Gisso is lighting the lamp early and often. So Norica, yeah, he had three goals. So Hudson Valley holds off Motor City. Motor City did try the charge late, but yeah, John Moriarty bars the door at the end. The defense really stepped up, and yeah, and so Moriarty stops 35 of 39. And Gonzalez 31 of 37 for the Rockers. But yeah, the big story was three hat tricks. And David Gaeta, excuse me, not to leave him out, he had four helpers on the night. So there were three members of the Venom that had big nights. So on the night, yeah, it's the Motor City Rockers falling to 2-7-0. Hudson Valley, look out! They are 4-3-1, and they are in third place. Not bad. All right, yeah. We got to do something about this though. This 200 again, $10. Go see the Venom. All right. The Binghamton Black Bears and the Danbury Hat Tricks. I called this. This was the one road team that won last night. Binghamton ekes out a 2-1 win, and yeah, it was a really tough game, very competitive. This was the only game that didn't have a gluttony of scoring. Both teams. That's the cat playing with the Burger King crown. Um, both teams really setting up on defense now. Danbury got started early, scored on a defensive turnover at 34 seconds in. And as far as scoring, that was the last we'd hear from the hat tricks. Binghamton gets goals from Cameron Clark and the game winner from Gavin Yates at 13:40 the second. Nolan Egbert saves 29 of 30, and what a night for Connor McCollum. Binghamton was pouring on the shots, 24 shots in the first period, For the game, McCollum stopped 50 of 52 in 58-28. So save percentage is going way up for McCollum. All right, and then our last highlighted game, the Monroe Moccasins traveling to Carolina, and this was back and forth, and it was just goals, 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 goals like crazy. It was 3-2 Monroe at the end of one, and that was the end of the night. Well, Boris Babic didn't even make it to the end of the first period. He was pulled at 17:40, and in came Mario Cavalieri. And yeah, 3 goals on 7 shots. Monroe did not muster much offense, but the offense that they could generate it was good quality chances, and they scored. But Carolina would come back a 6-5 win, shots 47-17 in this game. And yeah, so Marcus Ekholm Rosen, even though he gave up 6 goals, he saved 41. So it was a really, really good game. Yeah, so we had 3 helpers from Lane King. We had 2 goals by John Butito, who now has 99 goals. I was watching the end of the game and hoping he was going to get that hat trick for his 100th goal. I would have had to put another hat on, but didn't quite happen. So yeah, crowd of 2862 on hand. Very, very good crowd for a Friday night in Carolina. You know, Saturday is their big day where they just pack out the place. And I expect that again tonight. So Carolina improving to 4-1-3, and it's 3-4-1 for a Monroe Moccasins team that tried to employ a bend but don't break style of defense, and unfortunately they broke just a little bit. So we are done with those games. Let's move on. All right. Of course, we go to our smaller board here for the games that I did actually watch. And yeah, so this was quite a game. This Blue Ridge Port Huron game. I know it looks lopsided, but this was a hard fought game. 2 of these goals by Port Huron were empty net goals. The both of these teams, boy, they grounded out, and both goaltenders stood on their head. Both Valtteri Noisiainen and Hunter Vrostic, fantastic performances, and they had nothing to be ashamed of with the outcome of this game. However, it is Port Huron coming out on top, 4-1. Uh, Blue Ridge held the edge in shots. They did get a lot of shots, a lot of good chances too, especially from like the high slot or the face-off circles. They got a few digs in deep and just couldn't get much past Valtteri Nusiainen. So Dan Chartrand, he's the first one to score. He's got a fresh new A on his jersey. Scores a 7:33 the first period. It's on the power play. There were quite a few penalties in this game. It was a very gritty game. Not dirty, gritty. Big difference. Anyway, so it was Chartrand scoring early, and that was on just an absolute cluster storm right in front of Vorostic and a mad scramble. And yeah, Chartrand puts it in. Let's see. Trying to read my notes here. Yeah, there was a crazy collision a few minutes later. Vorostic came out to poke check a puck away that was coming in deep, and a chance at a breakaway, and a collision happens. Vorostek ends up going down, but he was okay. In the second period, it's Sava Smirnov scoring a very similar type of goal. A lot of digging going on right in front of Nusiainen. 3:34 the time of that goal. And that's where we would stand for quite a while, 1-1 for quite a while until the third period, 3:44 in. It's Lucas Lackney with a beautiful feed. He gets a feed and shoots it from the slot, rifles it past Vorostic, and that was the game-winning goal. Lackney, he's a huge pickup for the Prowlers. Um, and then late in the game, Rostic gets pulled. Matt Graham gets an empty netter, and that's his 400th point as a Prowler. Of course, he has he's vying for 500 points total, but Matt Graham, most of his points have come with the Port Huron Prowlers, and so that was a beautiful moment as he celebrated that. And then at 1943, Tucker Scantlebury just kind of taps an empty netter in. Didn't showboat it. I got to give him credits for that. He didn't make a big production. He just casually tucked it in. Okay, guys, we're done. So yeah, that was a final 4-1. Shots were 39-27 in favor of the Bobcats, but where it matters the most, Port Huron gets a win. Both teams now 4-1. Of course, they are in different divisions. You have Continental Division and Empire. Empire Division. No, reverse that. Continental Division first, and then the Empire. I haven't had enough caffeine yet. Crowd of 1145 on hand. This is one of those games where you could just feel like it was just a mismatch, and as the game wore on, it just got worse. I'm saying that from the perspective of a Dashers fan. For a Wolves fan, Wolves fans are thrilled, and they should be. Yeah, this record 8-1-1 for the Watertown Wolves. They win big. And they're still in second place because Binghamton keeps winning. So they just can't make up any ground. But they're doing their part. They're doing everything they can. And at this point, the Wolves have just got to hope that Binghamton falters here or there. Because the way they're playing, the Wolves are not going to lose many games this year. I can tell you that. All right, so yeah, score early and often. I guess that's the philosophy. Actually, it wasn't all at once. First 10 minutes went by relatively uneventful. We had Tate Leeson scoring at 11:31. Yep, Leeson was back in the lineup. Just mentioning quickly again, he hasn't been hurt. He's had personal commitments, so that's why he's been in and out of the lineup. And it's a situation that he and coach/GM Charlie Pence had talked about at the beginning of the year, that the first couple of months were going to be, Leeson would kind of need to be in and out of the lineup. He's dealing with some personal matters up in Canada. So, it's a good thing that Watertown's relatively close to Canada. So he can at least come in every now and then and play for the Wolves. And yeah, he made quite the contribution, scoring the first goal. 14:01, it's Kyle Heitzner scoring. Get used to hearing that. Late in the period, Rutherford was just getting peppered. Shots were 21-8 in favor of in favor of Watertown in that first period. Just a lot of action. And then late in the first period, this was like deja vu all over again. Nick Gallo gets a penalty shot. He's hauled down, and last week he was hauled when Danville played the Hudson Valley. He got hauled down in the last minute of the first period. Very strange. So second week in a row, Nick Gallo on a penalty shot. It shouldn't have counted, but the referees counted it. Gallo weaves his way in. Borodkin actually goes to poke checks the puck partially away. Gallo regathers it and shoots it into an empty net. But the puck and Gallo both had gone backwards. It should not have counted. But with the outcome, we'll let him have it. So 2-1 at the end of one. All right. Early in the second period, there's a breakaway. Jacob Gagnon ends up. This was kind of ridiculous. 4:05. All right. It's a goal by Dustin Perilla, and as he's shooting and scoring into basically an empty net on a breakaway, Um, yeah, Jacob Gagnon just comes out and just throws his body in there, and he ends up hurting Parker Rutherford. And that's why you don't want to do stuff like that, because you either end up hurting yourself or a teammate. So anyway, Rutherford goes out, but thankfully it's only for 39 seconds. Oscar Waldron came in, made a save, and then Rutherford came back in. So Rutherford, in spite of giving up so many goals, uh, he played well. He played very well, and he played well the week before too. I know the numbers don't look good, but he's not getting any help from up front. So okay, so let's get back to the game. We have a 3-1 game at this point in favor of Watertown. Well, let's make it 4-1 as Trevor Newman scores at 5:48. And there we go. Now I can see my notes. Hey, a little bit of light. Um, see, the main light in here is too bright, so I had to use a stand up lamp in the back, and I'm kind of doing one of these. Okay. Uh, it's not over yet though for the Dashers as Marian Pazitka scores on a breakdown by the defense of the Wolves. Rare opportunity where the Wolves defense broke down last night. That's at 9:26, so it's 4-2 at that point. Not bad if you're a Dashers fan, but then everything just went awry. It is Kyle Heitzner scoring, uh, and that a beautiful tic tac toe play with a feed from Michael Mercurio. Mercurio could have tried for the shot himself, but he saw that Heitzner had the better opportunity. He dishes it to Heitzner, and there you go. That's Heitzner's second on the night. We end up with a power play situation, an unfortunate penalty. Actually, it's it, the Dashers end up down two men with a full 2 minutes. And it's Heitzner, hey, third goal of the night. There we go. That is at 14:53 of the second period, and that gets him his Hattie. That's on the power play. In the third period, yeah, first minute in, and it is. Uh, I can't even read it. I can't even read. I write so small. Uh, that's all my notes. It's ridiculous. So there is a slew foot that happens. 51 seconds, and so there's going to be suspension for that, I'm sure. Marola, is that who it is? Okay. Anyway, game misconduct at 51 seconds. So, and then there's an additional minor. So again, 5-on-3 that the Dashers are down, and Heitzner scores again, adds a fourth. Why not? Everybody else is scoring a hat trick. Let me do it one better. That's at 4:08. And then we go to that's at the third period, of course. And then there's just a bombardment. Trevor Lord scores on another 5-on-3. Uh, it was just frustration for the Dashers. Lord scores, and so then we had Tesorio getting tossed. Coach Tesorio, he gets tossed for tossing a bottle out on the ice. So I'm not sure if there's going to be any kind of fine or suspension from that. Probably a fine, I would think. Now, Zach DeMars did score on a beautiful wrister at 8:49 of the third, but you had goals at the end by Dylan Infantino. And, oh, yeah, Soyseski also scored for the Dashers to make it 9-4. But, yeah, shots 47-29. I couldn't believe that the announce crowd was only 540 because this crowd was loud, and it was good to hear and see. But yeah, Pazitka goal and 2 assists on the night. Golo with his granted goal and an assist. Rutherford 37 saves on the night, so it wasn't on him, but he can't do it alone. Tate Leeson, not only the opening goal, but also 4 helpers on the night. Heitzner with that Hattie, +1. And Borodkin stops 25 of 29 for the win. So, yeah, there we go. And the final game of the night, I'm trying to find the right words for this. This was by far the most lopsided game of the night. And the one stat that's a little deceiving is the 23 shots by Mississippi. I would say half of those were just really harmless perimeter shots, which I know you can't score if you don't put the puck on net, but they weren't grade A chances. Mississippi had precious few of those. Brendan Colgan almost, almost getting his 11th shutout. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But yeah, the Zydeco, they came out, they meant business. It took them a few minutes to kind of feel things out and get the flow of their game going. But then it got going. I am on the wrong page. There we go. Kevin Savad scores at 16-12. At first, the goal was going to Elijah Wilson, but then they said no, that was Savad that scored. So we almost had another one because Elijah Wilson scores 2 minutes later on the power play. So it's 2-0 at the end of one. And that was Mississippi's best period, and they were outshot 18-6. They had a better shot differential in the second period, but it wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And if you're a Mississippi fan, you got to be worried because there's just no offense being generated, no quality offense being generated by this team. Second period, you had goals by Jackson Bond. Irony. Yeah, Jackson Bond with 2 goals on the night. In fact, 5:46 he scores. That makes it 3-0. We had Narek Alexanian scoring at 9:50. That was the end of the night for Samuel Best, who started the night in goal. And gave up 4 shots on 26 shots. And then really kind of at that point on, as Phil-Antoine Trepanier came in, the Zydeco took their foot off the gas and they had that luxury. So yeah, we had Tyler Larwood scoring at 13:06 and Jackson Bond again at 14:30. So it's 6-0 at the end of 2. And then in the third period, crazy. This epitomizes things. There's a defensive turnover in the Zydeco's defensive zone. It's a 2-on-none, deep in the zone. And Colgan makes the save. Mississippi could not convert on a 2-on-0. And that epitomizes the season so far. So shortly after that, there was a little frustration incident as Blake Keller and Jackson Bond have been kind of tangling and getting a little rough with each other. Keller ends up spearing Bond in the no-nos, and so that's the end of Keller's night. Colgan came out to tackle Keller and stand up for his teammate. So Colgan gets a 2-minute minor. But yeah, Keller's night was done, and there's another suspension that we're going to be facing. So most unfortunate there. So yeah, on the ensuing power play, it's Elijah Wilson scoring. Actually, no, it wasn't a power play. It was a 4-on-4 because it was a match penalty. So a 5-minute major, but Colgan, Colgan got the penalty. Somebody served for him. So that's a 9:14. So it's a 4-on-4 goal. And so now the only question is Colgan get his donut? Not quite. Mississippi scores 18 left. Or was it 18-18? 18:48, excuse me. It was only 1 minute and 12 seconds away from that shutout. And Dalton Anderson, and it was a good shot. Anderson scores, breaks out the shutout. So there you go. 7-1. Shots 42-33. Mississippi looking for answers. They need something. They just don't have the offense at this point. They don't have the defense. They don't have the goaltending. This team had high hopes coming in to the season, and it just isn't working out at this point. And is it too late? I don't know. For the Zydeco, they improved to 6-3-1, 2 goals and 2 assists for Elijah Wilson and Jackson Bond with those 2 goals just to kind of rub it in the Seawolves' faces. Colgan, 22 for 23. Trepanier, in the time he was in, 13 for 16 in half the game. So there you go. There is the wrap up for the day. Tomorrow I'll be back in my usual place recording. So just have to babysit the kitten. So we do it in here. But anyway, there you go. Make sure to hit like, subscribe if you haven't already to the channel, and tell a friend. Follow along. Keep up to date with everything going on in the FPHL. I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash.